Hey guys, this is another run of mine on Jesse's event, the Stoppy Provisioner, and this is going to be on the regular stage because I'm using a friend support. I wanted to do this run as a way to showcase why Penelo is extremely powerful. This run is going to be a 2-turn run, and Penelo is going to be the main damage dealer. As you can see, the party consists of Penelo, Ramza and Garnet. I won't go into so much detail about the strategy because it's fairly straightforward. What you want to do is just go the starting turn order of Garnet followed by Ramza, followed by Penelo, so that Garnet and Ramza can both set up their BT auras. And as you can see here, I sub Garnet out at the start for a Luna Freya friend, mainly to apply 3-turn quick prayer on both Ramza and Penelo. Once setup is complete, I just pop summon, and I pop summon really only to preserve the turn count so that I can finish the run in 2 turns. If you're not too fast about turn count, you don't even have to pop summon. But anyway, the idea is that by the end of the summon mode, I'll be at 100% force gauge and Penelo kills the bosses in one huge FRBT mode. And emphasis on the word huge. Before I go into more details about Penelo, a little bit about the setup that I'm using here. In terms of call abilities, I set a Fusoya call on Garnet and a Jesse call on Ramza. The call abilities are pretty flexible. The idea is that you want calls that help boost Penelo's HP damage, so you can even use calls like Kid Save or Seymour LD call if you don't have the calls here. All 3 of my characters are having 5/5 ultimate weapons, so your mileage may vary depending on how many ultimate weapons that you have. I don't think you need 5/5 ultimate weapons in everyone, except maybe Penelo. The dagger ultimate weapon does make a huge difference if you're using Penelo as a main damage dealer. This run is really a testament to why Penelo is extremely broken. I know many people were comparing her damage to the top tier damage dealers such as Rinoa or Sid Reigns or Tifa, and people were saying, Penelo at most only does 7 HP dumps and doesn't really compare. That's where they are actually wrong. For one thing, the damage dealers that you are comparing her to does not have the same support auras that Penelo brings to the table. So essentially, if you're bringing Penelo to the fight, she's a damage dealer that has the level of support auras that the top tier supports have in the game. So this run exemplifies that because I pair her with Ramza and Garnet. So essentially this run actually has 3 supports and 1 damage dealer, something that you can't normally fit in with characters such as Rinoa or Sid Reigns and such. Next, Penelo has the very juicy 50% HP damage cap up. And in this era where if you have no trouble meeting the ceiling of HP damage cap up is the most valuable offensive stat in the game. And this party is particularly effective because all 3 supports here carry HP damage up in their kit. Garnet has 40%, Ramza has 49% because I'm missing 1 buff, and Penelo has 50%. So this is approximately 150% HP damage cap up, which essentially means that for every dump that you do, you're actually doing 2.5 dumps. So if you translate that to Penelo's Fatal Dance, for example, 7 HP dumps is actually more like 17 HP dumps in one. And the other thing about why Penelo excels as a damage dealer is her Fatal Dance does splash damage. And if you have HP damage up effects, and in this case I'm using the Jesse call and Fusoya call for that, and of course all the aura supports from all 3 characters, the 50% splash is more like 100% splash because they will be improved by the HP damage up effects. Now that doesn't sound so bad anymore, does it? Besides that, Penelo in her kit also has the function of Force Gauge Charger and a very strong Force Time. Why is that relevant here? In this case, because Penelo herself can charge the Force Gauge, you don't have to bring a Force Gauge Charger. Normally, you bring someone like Luna Freya or Safi, which They aren't bad as well, and Luna Freya actually also has a 40% HP damage cap up, but because Penelo can charge the Force Gauge, it gives you the flexibility of bringing supports that cannot charge the Force Gauge. So in this case, for example, it allows me to bring Ramza and Garnet together. If you're using another damage dealer that can't charge the Force Gauge, you'd have to give up another party slot for a Force Gauge charger. Or in another way is of course slowly charging the Force Gauge, which isn't really optimal. I'm coming near to the end of my summon mode, and just nicely you'll see that Penelo starts her turn at the end of the summon mode with a full Force Gauge. Now this is where Penelo truly shines. I'm about to go into one massive FRBT mode. I was thinking a little bit what to do here because I still have 10 turns of Force time but only 6 turns of BT Aura remaining. What I decided is to sacrifice 1 turn of BT Aura so that I can plus 125% the Force Gauge, because you can always just use LD once inside the BT mode instead of Fatal Dance. Her LD actually does quite a lot of damage to 3 enemies. I used the double Seed Rings call here so that I can start Force time at 7 turns of Force remaining. And this is also another good thing about Penelo's Force time. Even if you are using any call ability, you would still get the plus 73% to Force Gauge bonus, even if your call ability does not do any damage to the enemies. So it's a very easy way to bump up the Force bonus percentage before you go into PT mode. So with that, I'm at 7 turns of Force time, let's go. The sequence here that I'll be doing is 5 Fatal Dances and 1 LD, because by the time she starts her LD, I'll be out of BT Aura, so she can't do Fatal Dance 6 times in a row. Now if you don't have a 5/5 ultimate weapon dagger for Penelo, what you can consider is to swap out Ramza or Garnet for Rinoa and have Penelo function more as an Aura Bot support and Force Gauge charger, and instead of Penelo's FRBT, go into Rinoa's FRBT mode instead, which should also deal fairly good damage and probably kill off the bosses. That's the great thing about Penelo, you don't have to use her as a damage dealer if you don't want to. She functions perfectly fine, probably one of the best actually in the game, if you just use her as a Force Gauge charger, Aura Bot support. Her LD actually did do quite a lot of damage, surprisingly, and it's actually a shame that 2 of the bosses died here, because this means that her BT finisher does less damage than it could potentially do with 3 enemies up. $243 million, not bad for a support unit. The BT finisher actually did 13 million damage, so if the bosses actually survived to the BT finisher, this would have been about like a 270 million BT mode damage instead. Anyway, that's it for this run. As always, I hope the video has been helpful, and if you enjoyed the content, do leave a like, comment or subscribe. Till then, I'll see you guys in the next Shinryu fight. Bye!